all your dreams. Land is home on your own. Every day, long, long way. University for me.
Yeah. Halo. Halo. Welcome. 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 Hello, everybody. Halo. My people in YouTube. My people in TikTok. Halo. Yes, 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 yes. UNA. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? All right, that's my country Southern accent. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining. I'm yours truly, Diva Reed. I'm representing for UNARepublic and UNA University and UNA Law and History. Welcome, everybody. User Cashapp, welcome. Bitcoin, welcome. Blue Age, Jill, welcome. Okay, I did it. I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your patience. You all know we get some technical issues. I don't know why. Every time I'm ready to go live, I got some technical issues with the Wi-Fi and everything else. Don't know why, but say la vie. We're gonna keep it going, keep it moving. So thank you all for your patience. We in the house. We in the house. Blue Age, Terry. Who else is in the house? Let me see. And I'm joining my people on YouTube. Well, make sure I see what's going on with my people on YouTube. So once again, I want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for your patience. Let me make sure I get logged in over here on YouTube. Today's session is the hierarchy of laws. Now, I have not gone through the hierarchy of laws in quite some time, so this is a very good time for us to go through them. So we're going to go through the hierarchy of laws today. Let me get on. Let me get logged on here. All right, no, I don't want to do that. Then everybody wants to pop up. And let's see if I can get on here. Make sure I see what's going on. Now, while I'm doing that, I want to remind you all, hierarchy of laws. You can find them in the UNA Beginner Law Book, okay? This law book, you can find this on UNAUniversity.com, or you can go to the link in the bio. All right, so you can find this beginner law book. What's in this beginner law book? Now, tonight I told you we're going over the hierarchy of laws, but it has the vibratory frequency chart, all right? It also has, once again, the hierarchy of laws chart, which is what we're going over. It has the universal laws, very important. All of these are important. And our new addition to it is the societal totem pole is in there, and the civilization cycle. All right, these are in there. It's going to be in your package if you get the physical copy. So you can get the physical copy, or you can get the ebook. Find the link in the bio, or you can go to UNAUniversity.com. Now, also inside of this book, All right, you have all of those documents I just showed you, but you also have the maxims of law in here. Very important. I want to touch on them a little bit this evening. All 270 something of the maxims of law are in here, and we're going to go over tonight why they're so important. But I want you to note these are copies that come with the book. Now, we include these in your physical copy because we want you to put these things up. We want you to put them on your refrigerator, on your mirrors, on your walls as a reminder. We don't want you to tear the book up trying to do that, so we give you some extra copies so you can put up around your house, okay, so that you can be reminded of these important laws, okay? So, UNA University Beginner Law Book. Get this. Okay, you can find this in the link at the bio or find it in UNARepublic.com. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Am I logged in? Can I get logged in to my folks here on YouTube? No. All right. We're going to do this. I know I said. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So now today, as I said, we're dealing with the universal laws. Let's see. Let me see if I can turn this down. All right, here we go. Now, I want to announce this. We have a workshop coming up, and it's basically an introduction because I have a lot of people who want to have consultations. So we're inviting you, if you're wanting to have a consultation or for the university, whether it be for the university, it would be for the membership package, or anything else that you wanted a consultation for, you want to be a part of this. This is going to give you an opportunity to ask questions at the end of the session. That's going to be on Tuesday, May 14th. If you're interested in being a part of that workshop or session, we want you to send us a message, all right? Send a message. My people on TikTok, send a message, leave a message with your name and your number and your email so that we can get in contact with you. Also, you can go to UNARepublic.com so we can get in contact with you, find the link so that you can sign up and enroll and be a part of that session. All right, so we're going to invite you. We're going to send you an invite so that you can come to the workshop. It's going to be on May the 14th. 2024. That's on a Tuesday, and it's going to be from 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. This will give you the opportunity to ask questions. All right, this will give you the opportunity to even set up a consultation with us if you're needing one, even if it's for other legal issues, whether it be for your home, any other situation. All right, leave a message and then we'll contact you, okay? So let's get into it. Welcome, everybody. Royal welcome. I want y'all to like and share and subscribe. What is on UNA Law on YouTube? I want you all to like and share, okay, because we're getting that channel established. So help us out with that channel as we continue to build and grow. We are building and looking for our new level. So want y'all to like and share and subscribe, please. Thank you so much for your love. Let's get to it. Universal or hierarchy of laws. Right here, hierarchy of laws. Now, what is this chart? So important. This chart helps you to understand where you stand in this game. All right. A lot of people don't understand that there is a hierarchy of the laws that are out here, and there are so many different laws. And this chart, by the way, this is law. This is law. Why? Because it's on record. And so we help you and encourage you, all of our students and our members know to have this as a part of their trust. Why? Because we're establishing the hierarchy of laws. So you put it in your trust, it becomes a law for your trust as well. All right. So let's go over this hierarchy of law chart once again that comes with the UNA Beginner Law book. Okay, so let's go over this. If you don't have this, you'll be able to get this once again when you can either get the ebook or the physical copy. We'll be glad to send you one, as I've shown you already. Okay, so let's get into this. So first of all, if you'll notice, go ahead and put that image up for me for my YouTube people. But what you'll notice here at the top, universal laws. And we talked about that. Once again, the universal laws come inside of with the UNA law book. Okay, so what are universal laws? Universal laws deal with the energies. When I tell you guys all the time, when we talk constantly about the spiritual side and how everything starts from the spirit, okay, that's dealing with the universal laws. The universal laws deal with whatever energies you put out must come back. That's the main principle. Whatever energies you put out must come back. Listen, I can't even get into making money and how to make money and all that before I go into the spiritual side. And I get this, a lot of students, they'll come to me in that state, in that desperate state. And first of all, we got to get you out of that desperate state and let you know that everything starts within. Okay, once you understand that, the money is going to find you. You don't have to chase it. Worried about it. I'm gonna get my money. Hello, Queen Pisces, welcome. Gorgeous is, yes, you is gorgeous. Royal, welcome. Thank you for liking and sharing. All right. All right, I'm just checking. I'm getting a lot of messages. I'm appreciating the love. Thank y'all for liking and sharing. Okay, so now, and subscribing. Subscribe on YouTube, please. So we're understanding that with the universal laws, we're recognizing our energies and the fact that when we put out an energy or when we have a thought, when we speak something, when we do something, we're creating an energy in this third dimension, and then it's got to show back up. Okay, so we're understanding that. Now, that's the next law. Underneath that is natural law. Natural law. When we're speaking about natural law, we're speaking about the ways that the objects within this third dimension show up, the nature of the beings that show up in our third dimension. What is their nature? All right, what does that mean? First of all, when we're talking about men, when we're talking about women, or when we're talking about males or females, or even plastic and anything that's showing up in this dimension, it has a nature. The issue is, are you respecting the nature of the being that is showing up? And so I speak about male, female, because we don't have a respect for the nature of beings that show up in this third dimension. And this includes how the things that we expect from men, the things that we expect from women. We don't have a true respect. It's like, for example, we know that cats have a nature. We know that dogs have a nature. Dogs are the ones who you're going to train to guard your house or to bark and make a lot of noise when somebody comes around. Well, you're not being respectful if you buy a cat and you try to train the cat to bark and to watch the house and to make up a lot of, that's not in their nature. And so when you do that and you have an expectation of this cat to do something that's not in its nature, the problem is you. It's the same thing when we're talking about males. We in this society have made males out to be something and have expectations on them to do something that's not in their nature. And women have not been standing in their nature. And so we wonder why we're backwards in this society. Well, we don't understand nature, nor have a respect for what nature has ordained in this dimension. Thank you for the love, gorgeous. So when we're talking about nature, it is recognizing the nature of the beings. Also, the other thing about nature, what you need to understand that we have not been taught about nature or natural law, is that nature says we live in abundance. That's what nature says, meaning you don't have a need to hoard when you plant. Y'all heard the term, you reap what you sow. Well, if you don't sow, you don't get to reap. But somebody has planted it in our minds in this society that we need to hoard. Oh, it's scarcity. There's not enough for everybody. Well, the problem is that that's not what nature says. And if you have that mindset, and if you take on those characteristics, when you hoard, then you receive less. But when you give, nature says, I'm going to return it in multiples. So what am I talking about? When you plant a seed, if I plant a tomato seed, nature says, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of seeds back. Nature's not like, no, you only planted one seed. I'm going to give you a quarter of that seed. But no, nature's going to give you a whole bunch of seeds. If I plant tomato seeds, I'm going to get thousands of seeds back because I've sowed that. Now I'm going to reap it. When you have the opposite mentality where you're hoarding, well, then you're going to get less. And we've got to come out of that mentality because we got to start recognizing and respecting how nature is, how nature operates. All right. So we're on that was number 2. We're talking about natural law. One second. All right. So next we want to go into laws of maxim. Okay. So with laws of maxim, these laws of maxim are also known as God's law. Now, you can also find these as maxims of law, laws of maxim or maxims of law. And basically maxims meaning the max, the highest. Now, any court, why are these so important? Now, I just told you they're known as God's laws, but these come straight from the Bible. And with these laws, you're going to, if you go into court, you want to have these laws. I told you we have these in the beginner law book. You want to have these laws on record before you step into any court. What you're saying is these are the laws that your God has ordained for you. What are these laws talking about? These laws are saying you have the right to travel this planet without governmental documentation. You got the right to create documents. Nobody can force you into a contract. You have the right to bear arms. All of these different rights that you have. All right, that's what is in these maxims of law. And so it's important for us to recognize that, we have a God. Listen, I'm just telling you this, whether you're an atheist or not, whatever your religion is, this is not about religion. What this is I need you to understand that those who are playing this game at the highest level, they believe there is a God. Whether you believe there's one or not, they believe there is. And so when you walk into court, the last thing you want to be coming out of your, I ain't no God, I don't believe, I'm an atheist. Keep that to yourself. Just pretend like there is one, because when you walk into this place, this so-called court of law, if you're walking in with this mindset, then you have thrown away all of your power. Now, I'm just making that clear. I'm not even concerned about what your religion is. I'm not concerned about how you believe or where you pray at or how many times a day you pray or if you don't pray. I'm telling you what the laws are and the rules are when you walk into this place. If you go into there with this mindset of talking about there's no God or what have you, you have thrown away all of your power. But the moment you make it clear who your God is and what the laws are and what your God says is ordained for you, it has to be respected. Let's make that clear. All right. So if you desire to have respect and some semblance of law and ability and power when you step into this place, then make sure you establish that you have a God and what that God has set forth for you. All right. So that's laws of maxim or maxims of law. And let me make this clear. These laws, we haven't even talked about man's laws all the way down here, code, statutes, and ordinances. See how high they stand on this chart. Show the chart. All right. They stand very high. And so the only thing, let's make it clear what happens when we go into a quote unquote court of law and how this works. All right. Before we go into a court, we're always going to send in our own documentation or a presentment or a court of law. Court of law is where you're writing and you're making your statement. Okay. Boom. This is a court. See, it's got 4 corners. This is a court of law. When I write my rules on this court of law, then when I put it into the court, my court precedes whatever the rules are of that court I'm about to walk into. This is why you want to include the maxims of law with your court. All right. Now, what happens when you establish your court, what you're saying in here is you're telling what the rules are. So what now happens is when they're trying to come at you with a code, statute, or ordinance, you can make it clear. Well, my God says that I'm under these laws, and codes, statutes, and ordinances do not apply in this court. That's what you're doing. You're establishing the rules of your court. Okay. And so now what happens when they're coming at you with all of these codes or what have you, or even, let me make this clear. On this document, you are not going to find case law. Case law is garbage. I'm going to say it again. Case law is garbage law. What it is the opinion of a judge. And I know you'll hear a lot of people, such and such versus such and such, and on such and such. And listen, if you want to use that, you can use that, but we don't use that because whatever God has said up here is always to our advantage. Why would I want to use case law and what a servant judge, because a judge is nothing more than a servant. Where's a servant? Servant is really all the way down here. Servant is really at the bottom of the chart. A servant is underneath a citizen. So if I got what God said up here, and I got a judge who's a servant down here, whose law stands above who? So then if I say, if I have these laws here that say that God says my rights are this, well, who is a judge to tell me any different? So why am I going to use what you got to say versus what God said? You don't have to. So I'm never needing a judge to back up what God said. I don't have no need for that. All right. So I'm making it clear to help you understand the true power of these laws of maxim or maxims of law, and why you want to make sure you put them on record for yourself so that it's clear what your God said. Okay. And if y'all have any comments or questions, please put them in the comment section so that I can get to them today. Don't forget, we have a workshop, and it's going to be on Tuesday, May 14th. All right. If you're wanting to be a part of that workshop, make sure you send a notice, leave your name, email address, and phone number so that we can contact you. Or you can find us on UNARepublic.com. You could always subscribe or enroll there for a consultation. And then we're going to invite you to the workshop. Okay. So our next thing is contract law. Contract law. All right. Contract law deals with an offer plus an acceptance equals contract. All right. These are a set of laws that sovereigns worldwide adhere to. All right. Contract law. I need y'all to understand that these people are constantly negotiating with you or making contracts with you, and you're not recognizing that they're contracting with you. All right. So an offer plus an acceptance equals a contract. Now, when someone sends you an offer, all right, I need you to understand that if you don't respond to them, then you have made an acceptance. And now you have a contract and you don't even know you have a contract. I'm going to give you an example. A traffic ticket. A traffic ticket is the cop offering you to make a payment to his organization. Okay, that's an offer. And then when you don't respond, you have accepted. Now you feel like, well, I responded, Diva. I went into court. I need you to recognize something, that when that cop gave you that ticket and you signed that ticket, he's telling you, you're not admitting any guilt. You can just show up in the court. But what you've done is, first of all, you created a financial instrument, meaning you created money when you put your signature on that contract. The ticket is a contract. And when you sign that contract, you have accepted the terms of that agreement. Now, the cop is lying to you, because that is, I don't even know, it seems like they trained to do that, lie, because that's what they do a lot. But they're lying to you when they say you're not admitting or accepting any guilt, but you are. And what happens is you now have 10 days to respond to that contract. All right, 10. I said 10. But you're not, they're going to tell you to show up in court. That court date is not going to be until 30 to 40 days later. 10 days, you have accepted the terms of that contract. After 10 days, you are guilty. All right, that's called tacit assent. Once again, when you sit down here with Diva Laree, make sure you have pen and paper, because I want you to go and look this up. Don't believe a word I say. Do not believe a word I say. I want you to go and look it up and see it for yourself. Tacit assent. T-A-C-I-T. Assent. A-S-S-E-N-T, or agreement. Tacit assent or tacit agreement. That means you are agreeing without speaking. Thank you for following. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. You have agreed. All right. And so what happens is when you walk into court, you think you get to argue. Well, see, you know, Your Honor, see, I wasn't even doing, I was minding my own business. And then the cop came up and, but you already signed the ticket. You've already agreed because you didn't respond. All right. So again, we're talking about the hierarchy of law, and we're on contract law. All right. Hierarchy of laws, and we're on contract law. Offer plus acceptance equal a contract. So understand that people are constantly trying to contract with you, and that's exactly what the cop is doing, because the cop is saying, I'm offering you a contract. All right. Now, if you don't say nothing, then you agree. Here's another contract. Let me help you understand some things where there is not a contract. All right. Let's say you go to someone and they are selling a car, and you say to them, okay, how much is the car? Oh, it's $500. All right. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come back next week, and then I'm gonna pay you for the car. Now, if they sell that car between now and next week, when you come back, do they have a right? Do you have any kind of repercussions against them if they sell that car? Well, the answer is no, you don't, unless you give consideration. Now, what is consideration? Consideration is where you have given them something of value to hold the car. All right, it could be 50 cents, it could be 25 cents, a penny. It doesn't matter. If you have given them any type of consideration for holding the item, then there is a contract. So if you go to them and they're selling a car, and you say, hey, okay, I want to get that car, so here's $1, or here's $100. I know it's $500. Here's $100. I want you to hold this car, and I'll come next week and get it. Now, if they sell the car between then and next week, then yeah, you got some repercussions because y'all had a contract. All right, you offered, they accepted. Now you have a contract. Now you have some repercussions. All right, Howard says, my word. All right, Howard, yes, word is your bond. Word is bond. All right. So once again, we're here at contract law. This is sovereigns. This is how we operate in the private. And once again, you got to understand that a lot of businesses have been operating here in contract law with you, and you haven't been recognizing it. So here's another one, and then I'm going to get to the next topic. When someone sends you a contract, water bill, light bill, gas bill, they are contracting with you. And remember, I said, if you don't answer or respond within 10 days, you have agreed to it. So when the light bill company sends you a light bill, and they say, okay, Ms. Jones, you owe $200 for your light bill. And then if you don't answer within a certain amount of time, then you have agreed, yes, you owe $200 for the light bill. But understand, if you go back at them and you say, no, I don't owe you $200 for this light bill, there's a dispute. And even you'll find on your light bill that they can't turn your lights off when there's a dispute. Same thing with any of the other services. All right. Thank y'all for liking and sharing. Hold on, let me make sure. All right. My phone is over here. Well, I tell you what. All right, so my people in YouTube, I can't see you right now, but I'm gonna get to you. All right. Next topic, all right, is treaties. You'll see it right there, treaties. What is a treaty? All right, a set of laws which sovereigns worldwide adhere to in commerce. What we're talking about today is the hierarchy of law chart and why it's so important. The hierarchy of law chart and why it's so important. Okay, this is how you know where you stand in this position. Now, forgive me because I totally skipped over sovereign. I didn't know how I did that. Let me make sure. I don't even know how I skipped over sovereign. Let me go back before this thing cuts off. You'll notice here sovereign is under laws of maximum. I just went straight to contract law. Let me go back to sovereign because this is very important. What is a sovereign? All right, a sovereign, a being that is master of self. Now here we have human being, but really all beings are sovereign. You got master of self. You operate under God's law. You have the ability to create laws and constitutions for yourself and the corporations that you create. A sovereign. Now, master of self. Right here, when we're talking about sovereign, we're talking about, if I can get this right, a master of self. What does that mean, Diva Laree? All right, let's get into it because this is very important. The reason why we talk so much about the universal laws and what the importance is of being able to control your energies is because as a sovereign, when you are a master of self, then you don't need a government to control you. Let's understand what the term government means. Govern, to govern means to control. Ment means mind. Government means control of the mind. All right, control of the mind. Now, when you're sovereign, you don't need a government because you have control of your mind. And what does it mean to have control of mind or control of self? It means that you are not out here hurting people, harming people, doing negative things to negatively impact the society. This means you are in your right mind. You're operating in good faith with people. This means that you are somebody, when you speak your word, it is your bond. You bonded to it. That's what sovereign means. And so what happens is, as I tell people, when you get to this point where you're walking as a sovereign, then you want to make sure you have integrity, honor, respect. That's very important at this level because there's another set of laws that you're going to come under if you're not operating in honor, integrity, and respect. And your punishment is going to be far greater than anything you thought you were going to get if you're not operating in honor, integrity, and respect. So, for example, as I tell people, up under the system, you steal something, you might get some jail time, slap on the wrist, but do that as a sovereign. When you've come from up under the system, that might be your life. You have to have or operate in honor, integrity, and respect. Because see, the reason why a government shows up in the first place is because society was not operating in their right mind. Society was not operating with honor, integrity, and respect. Why does a traffic report show up? Why does a credit report show up? Why does a criminal report show up? Because if everybody were paying back what they borrowed, if everybody operated with honor and integrity, and when they said something, they meant it and they did it, then there'd be no need for a credit report. Everybody would be able to borrow money because everybody's known to pay it back. But those things have to show up because people do not operate in integrity. So if I'm looking at your credit report and I'm seeing that you got 3 car repos You got foreclosures. It's telling me spiritually how you operate. And somebody doesn't like it because, no, people, that is, things happen 3 times. Again, we get it. Some things happen. But if it was a situation where everybody were operating under integrity, everybody operated whereby your word is your bond, then there'd be no need for any kind of report, whether it be traffic, whether it be criminal, credit, wouldn't have a need for that. Okay, so when you're sovereign, your word is your bond. And if you are not at that level of maturity yet, don't become sovereign. If you don't know how to operate without stealing things from people, don't put your trust in, because you're going to get in a lot of trouble. All right. Next, I want to go into, we've gone through contract. And again, if you're wanting this list, you can go to UNARepublic.com, or you find the link in the bio so that you can purchase your beginner law book. All right. Treaties. Let's get into treaties. All right. What is a treaty? Treaties are laws made between sovereigns. Okay. That deal with a particular tract of land. Treaties are laws made between 2 sovereigns that deal with a particular tract of land. Now, I need y'all to understand, when we put in our declarations and we put those on record, that is a treaty. What is the tract of land? The vessel. You are made up of every element on the planet. You are walking land. You are a walking state, in fact. All right. So what is that document or that declaration that goes on record? Well, it is a treaty between you and the county. The county is a sovereign. You are a sovereign. All right. And so when you make that law, you put that on record, you are stating that you are the owner of your vessel or your land. Okay. Now, when you come into the university, you learn what more to even do with that statement and how much more powerful it is than what we're being told. Okay. Now, let me see. The next document, the next section that I want to talk about, Constitution. All right, you hear a lot of people saying, "What the Constitution say?" Constitution of the United States. Well, when you put your Constitution on record, it stands higher than the Constitution of the United States. Your Constitution stands higher than the Constitution of the United States. All right. So again, when we're talking about a trust, because that's your Constitution is going to be a part of your trust, that's how powerful these tools are. So once again, if you're interested in having a trust with UNA, or developing your trust, getting your membership trust package, leave a message in the inbox, your name, number, email. All right, leave a message so that we can make sure that we get to you and we get you into our session that we're holding on the 14th of May. Okay, you want to be a part of that. So we're understanding this. Your Constitution, that's a part of your trust, it stands higher than the United States. Once again, because as a sovereign, you are establishing your own government. You're self-governed. Okay. If I have any comments or questions, leave them in the inbox. All right. And I know if you all want to know anything about law, or you have any questions about court sessions or anything like that, leave a comment in the comment section, because I will get to it. because I got time today. Okay, going into it. Federal codes, all right? And this one is a pretty hot topic, federal codes, because we will get some people that will say, you know, UCCs, by the way, Uniform Commercial Codes. Uniform Commercial Codes, those are federal codes, right? Federal codes are codes which govern corporations within corporations. Now, I need y'all to understand, UCC codes and federal codes, they are codified contract law, all right? These are laws for corporations. Corporations worldwide have to adhere to federal laws. And these federal laws are codified contract law. All right. Now, I need y'all to understand something about the term federal. Pen and paper, take notes. Federal means a covenant with God. A covenant with God. That's what the term federal means. Now, we have been made to fear federal. You rid of the federal government. Well, let's understand what's happening with this term federal, where it comes from, what it means, and who these people are. Now, when we're talking about federal, federal means, once again, a covenant with God. I want y'all to go and look up the etymology of the term. And so your federal agents have made a covenant with God to protect God's property. Well, what is God's property? You. So they made a covenant to protect you. And the problem is you don't recognize who you are. Now, these federal codes, and people, again, we've been made to fear the federal when it's the federal that's working for you. These federal codes have been established and they're in harmony. They are in harmony with these higher laws. They are helping to protect your God-given right. Federal codes, once again, help to protect your God-given rights. And the problem is we don't even read them. So I'm going to give you an example of federal codes that we don't know. When you're talking about these policy enforcers and even federal agents, now this deals with federal agents as well as anything beneath federal agents, because you understand I have not gotten to state yet. State and all that, that's going to be under here. But a federal agent, one of the law is, if the only reason they can arrest you, there's only 3 reasons why they can arrest you. 3. 1, they saw you commit a crime or have full reason to believe that you have committed a crime. They suspect that you are about to commit a crime or have full reason to suspect it. Or there's an arrest warrant. Those are only 3 reasons. You committed a crime, they saw you commit a crime, or they suspected you're about to commit a crime, or there's an arrest warrant. If they don't have those things, they're not even supposed to arrest you. Well, you pissed me off, so I'm going to arrest you. You didn't show me your ID, so I'm going to arrest you. You didn't do that. There is no, they're going to say you broke a crime because you didn't show an ID. There's no law. By the way, I need to go into this. There is no law that says you got to show them an ID. There isn't. There is not a law. And then let's say they show you, there's no law. They can't even present a law. Even if there was a code, because that's the only thing they can show you, which it doesn't exist. But let's pretend like there was a code whereby it said you got to show an ID. I'm going to take you back up here to God's law. God's law says you can't force me into a contract. That's what God's law says. Well, what they gonna say that you better stand on what your God said. This ain't what Diva said. What your God said? This is the problem. We have totally forgotten about God. We thinking, oh, man's law, and he said we better do this and we better. Even the seatbelt law is not a law. It's just a code. I haven't even gotten to that. They so beneath. Federal codes cannot even force you to put on the seatbelt. Federal codes can't even force you to put on a seatbelt. You have the right to not wear your seatbelt if you want to not wear your seatbelt. But when a cop comes up, you're a seatbelt law. It's not a law. Listen, let me finish up with federal codes. Federal codes, they protect your God-given rights. They are in harmony. So everything from federal codes on up, this is what we're dealing with. All right, these federal codes and UCCs, because you get people saying, "Oh, that's for the man." Read the codes. They are in harmony with God's law, and they are there to protect you. All right, and so we will use a UCC code, especially when we find it advantageous to us. We have the right to do that. Now, thank you for sharing the live, Sunshine. All right. Now, let me get to corporations. See where we are on this hierarchy of law. This down here on the totem pole. All right. What are we talking about when we say corporations? The dead fictitious entity. They operate under laws of the Constitution developed by the sovereign, meaning when you're talking about police precinct of whatever, LAPD, Georgia PD, or whatever, whoever's PD, police department, these are under here, dead fictitious corporations. They cannot create laws. They can only create codes, statutes, and ordinances. The code, statutes, and ordinances here are beneath federal codes and beneath your trust. So when you're talking about the U.S. corporation, the United States corporation, they down here. When you're talking about state of Tennessee, state of Texas, state of Florida, they're all down here. They're not sovereign. Now, if you're talking about Georgia Republic, well, you got a different story. But you're talking about state of Georgia, oh, that's down here. That's owned by Britain. Those of us who know the difference between the U.S. versus the United States of America, anything, state of anything, they're down here. They're operating under codes, statutes, and ordinances, and they purposely get you to sign a contract to turn over your God-given rights. What's the contract that you're signing? Oh, the driver's license. That is you turning over your God-given rights, but we learn how to get our God-given rights back. When you know, they're even trying to make it difficult when you go to get your driver's license, where they won't even allow you to, or when you sign, they won't allow you to put, was it all rights reserved? They won't allow you to put any numbers on. They try to tell you, oh, that's not your signature, as if they have the right to tell you that. But we learn how to go around that too. We learn how to put things under trust and then put people on notice. Queen says, Queen and Free says, I tried to find a copy of the UCC codes and it was confusing. They said each stair has their own. Okay, so I'm not sure who you may have spoken with, Queen, but you can find the UCC codes online, and then There is a way you can get a full copy, a full set of the UCC codes, but I'm going to tell you right now, you can find them on Cornell. Well, one of the issues with Cornell is I've noticed that on some of the UCCs, they have started to retract or redact or hide information concerning the UCCs. That's what I'm noticing, because remember, these UCC codes are in harmony and they protect your God-given rights. Well, for whatever reason, on the Cornell University site, I've seen some of the UCCs where the information is hidden, but there is a place where you can get a full set of the UCC codes in a book format. All right, so we'll stay tuned. I'll be able to find that and present that for you as we go on. So you said you talked to the state. Well, who exactly? Because you got to understand, Queen, the people who you're talking about, they might not even know what UCC codes are. They give you an answer when they say everyone has their own stare. Listen, UCC codes are federal. The other thing that I need to tell you about federal is worldwide, planet-wide. If there's people who got a post office box or any kind of, they can receive mail from the post office, they are federal. That's federal jurisdiction. And so the thing about federal jurisdiction and it being worldwide, these laws, going back to the federal codes and UCCs, thank you for the love, Berno. Yeah, thank you for the love, Berno. Now, with these federal codes, it's worldwide and all courts across the planet. So if they're talking about a federal court, they got to adhere to these laws right here, or these codes. They got to respect, once again, I told you, you're a guide up here. They got to respect that. Okay, so we're getting back to these corporations. They're dead fictitious entities, and they're only operating off of codes, statutes, and ordinances. And when I told you, if you're in a court with these beings down here, you better have your court established up here with your laws that God says. Why? Because all of those laws are going to stand above any kind of code, statutes, or ordinance. So if they're calling you in and they're talking about, oh, she broke the seatbelt law and, you know, she was speeding. Okay, those are codes. Those are not even laws. Code, statutes, and ordinances. So you got to know how to operate up here such that, first of all, if you're operating properly, you're not going to end up in court anyway, because court is for dead people, dead persons. All right. So if you're operating properly, you're not going to even end up in court in the first place. But if you do, and you're understanding how to operate up here, then you recognize these are code, statutes, and ordinances. They are beneath your trust. Okay. Next thing. Policy or police, corporations, and agencies. Once again, we're going over the hierarchy of law, hierarchies of laws. Now, don't forget, we are also streaming on YouTube at UNARepublic. So you can find us there on YouTube. Okay. So hierarchy of law. And we're down here at police, corporations, and agencies. As I told you, any of the PDs, they're down here. They're private agencies. They're private corporations that belong to, they're equivalent to private citizens. They're private agencies of corporations they belong to. So what am I saying? If we got Atlanta, and Atlanta has a police department. We got Georgia. Georgia's got the state patrol. We've got New York, you know, New York Police Department. We've got Los Angeles Police Department. All of those are private agencies. Let me make this clear. They are not government. They are not government. These are, and this is how I liken them to, They private citizens running around with a costume and a weapon. They're private citizens running around with a costume and a weapon. And they're highly dangerous because somebody has told them that they have authority that they do not have. They don't have authority to just pull you out the car. They don't have authority to check up under check your car and all. They don't have the authority to do that. And the problem is that we as the people are not holding them. We're not, when you start, the more people start suing these police departments, then they'll start to become kinder and gentler with the people. But somebody has told them that they have a right to just stop you and hold you when legally they do not. They're not even government. Now, when you're talking about a sheriff, maybe. You're talking about a federal agent, maybe. But anybody's police department, these are private citizens policing a private agency. And so why is this an issue? Okay, let's understand what's happening now. This is why the more people become knowledgeable about law, the less tyranny these people can put on the public. The more people are knowledgeable about law, the less tyranny they can put on the public. I already told you, federal agents don't have the right to just come up and arrest you unless they saw you commit a crime. 2, they have full reason to believe you committed a crime or are about to commit a crime. Or 3, there is an arrest warrant. Other than that, they can't just arrest you just because. And they're going to make up things and lie about things. But the more you catch them in that, the more you catch them in their lie, then the less they're going to be tyrannical against the public. All right. Once again, if you have any questions, and I know somebody goes, "Oh, you can't do that because the cops, they're gonna do this and that, and they're gonna tase you." They don't have the authority to do that. They're acting as tyrants. They're not government. Once again, they're private citizens. That's all they are. And I'm gonna give you an example, because I had to go to talk to the sheriff. I have a tendency to talk to sheriffs in different counties. I'm gonna go visit them. And I was talking to the sheriff about this one particular case. And he was saying, well, they're not government. He knew that, because I said, you know that they're not government. Yeah, we know they're not government. And when I say they, he's talking about the police. I was talking to the sheriff. See, this is why y'all have to be a part of the university, because you have to understand these different agencies. There's county, city, state, federal. These are all different entities, and they serve different purposes. But if you don't know the difference, you think they all the same, but they're not. If I'm talking to the sheriff, that's government. If I'm talking to a federal marshal, that's government. But a police department for the state or a police department for the city, they are private citizens. Take notes. They're private citizens. Now, why is that an issue? It's because, when you're dealing with these different entities and they're trying to get you to contract with them, if you don't know who you're dealing with, then you start contracting and you thinking, okay, I'm dealing with one people, and you thinking they all the same when they're not. Most of these people, let me rephrase that. Your police departments, they're not government. They're private. And they need you to sign off. They need you to contract with them. They need you to agree to go to prison. Thank you for the love, Pink Lotus. All right. If I have any questions or comments, I want you to put it in the comment section. Okay, put it in the comment section. Now, I want to say this. I'm going to take a pause because I got these nuts right here. Can y'all see these nuts? All right, so I want y'all to know you can find a link in the bio to get these nuts. All right. These nuts. We got chocolate, spicy, salt-free, salted nuts, and we got peanut butter cups. Okay. Find a link in the bio to get these nuts. Now, I want to go on because we're ready to get down here to the bottom of this totem pole. See that right there? It says citizen. Citizen. Citizen is a slave of the corporation to which it pledges. Does not have rights. A citizen only has privileges, which are given to it by the corporation to which it pledges. So when they tell you that driving is a privilege, they're talking to you as a slave because you have claimed to be a citizen. But when you are a sovereign, driving is a right. It's a right. When you're a sovereign, private is a right. Driving rather is a right. When you're a citizen, yeah, it's a privilege to you because they're talking to you as a slave. So next time a cop tells you, yeah, driving is a privilege, yeah, he's assuming that you're a slave. You got to make sure he understands. And the other thing you want to make sure is that they don't call you a sovereign citizen. Let's make this clear. You're a sovereign here and a citizen here. A sovereign is a master of self or a god. A citizen is a slave. You are one or the other. Not no sovereign citizen. And so the other thing you need to understand about that term sovereign citizen is that they are trying to claim that you are a terrorist. That's what the term means for them. They're calling you a terrorist. That's what, if anybody is a sovereign citizen, it's terrorist. Okay, you make it clear you're sovereign. And if you really want to know who the sovereign citizen is, it's the police. Sovereign citizen is someone who doesn't have authority that they think they have. That would be your cops who think they are truly government when they're not. And so what we deal with in UNA University is conflict management. How to manage a conflict when you're dealing with these agents. What to say, because I'm letting you know we have plenty of people out here who have a trust and who have documentation. But if you don't know what to say, then you're not going to just flash a badge or, flash this sign and then they just go away. You have to know what to say and how to stand, how to manage the conflict when they're coming at you. This is not about being negative or disrespectful to anybody, because going back to the highest law, universal laws, we are very cognizant of the energies that we put out. So we don't want to put out negative energy towards anybody for any reason. So we learn how to manage a conflict when we have agents coming at us, what to say, whether it's FBI, a cop, state patrol, city, county. We learn how to govern ourselves or how to respond such that we make them move off and let them know we know what our rights are. And we don't do stupid things either. We don't put other people's lives in jeopardy or in harm. If you think it's okay for you to weave in and out of traffic, well, I'm not agreeing with you on that. there are certain things that we also learn to be accountable for ourselves, such that we don't even draw that kind of attention to us. All right. I want y'all to leave a comment in the comment section, please. If you have any questions or comments, I want to take those right now. Real Son, thank you for joining. Once again, we dealt with the hierarchy. Now, if you have any questions that, or you want a consultation, whether it be for the UNA membership package, it could be for the UNA, enrollment for the university. If it's a legal situation, legal matter, whether it be for your house, whether it be for your car or anything else, and you want a consultation, I want you to leave your name. My people on TikTok, leave your name and your number and email. Leave it in the comment section, or you can find us on UNARepublic.com. Set up a time for a consultation, or because what we're going to do is just invite you to the workshop. That way you're going to have access to ask questions. You're going to be able to talk to us and maybe get some answers. And if not, set up a consultation so that we can meet with you in private. All right. If you're interested, I want you all to, once again, leave your name and number and email. And we're going to invite you to the program that we're having on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be on May 14th. All right. Pink Lotus in the inbox. Leave that in the inbox for me, because I'm not even going to be able to see this after we go off. So leave it in the inbox for me so that we can make sure we invite you to our workshop, because we want to get your questions answered. If you have any questions you want to ask here this evening, please put it in the inbox. Let's get to it right now. I'm taking questions, okay? So, Mr. Styles, I appreciate the love. Thank you, friend. UNA Beginner Law Book. You can find this at UNARepublic.com or find the link in the bio. Ivy, thank you for the love. I appreciate you. Please ask me some questions if you all have questions on specific things. I would love to get into it. I got time today, so ask me some questions before I get out of here. So the UNA Beginner Law Book, you can either get the ebook or you can get the physical copy. The physical copy comes with, once again, a vibratory frequency chart. I love this. It comes with the UNA hierarchy of law chart, the universal laws chart, as well as this societal totem pole. This is big, and the civilization circle. Now, we give you these copies because we want you to put these up around your house, put them on your mirrors, on your refrigerator, on your walls. We want you to put these up, all right? But inside of the book, this also comes with all 200 and some odd, or 334 of the maxims of law, okay? They're in here. It comes with information on what these charts are for and why we have them and how to use them. Also comes with information on contract writing in here. So this is a very, very powerful book. I want you to go ahead and pick this up. All right, love for you to have it. Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you, Ms. Styles. 30-second recap. Okay, hierarchy of laws. This chart is very important in helping you to understand where you stand within this game. Because if you're down here, you're sitting as a citizen, or you stand as a sovereign. All right, not a sovereign citizen. So don't let anybody call you that, because they're calling you a terrorist. And the true terrorists are the ones who terrorize the whole population and society. by thinking they have authority, which they do not. But the more people gain knowledge of the law and they start standing up for their rights, the more they have to become kinder and gentler to the public. Here are your terrorists right here. And I'm not saying all of them do that, but I'm letting you know that somebody has given them the idea that they have authority that they do not. And the only way you can stand is to know who you are, who your God is, and then what the laws are. All right. Thank you for that question, Smiley. So this order comes from universal law. So the general law of the universe is you only have the right to control that which you created. Okay? So that's the general law of this whole, everything within this dimension, coming from the universe. You have the right to control that which you create. Okay, so now, starting from up here, from the universe comes nature. What is nature? When we're talking about, you know, the trees and the animals, it's come from the universe. And you got to understand that when we're talking about these laws of maxim, they're God's laws, and people will ask me, well, how come God's law is beneath universal laws? Let me make this clear. And thank you for that question, because I know I'm going to have some people who are upset with this list. You can bite these nuts. Unnatural roasted salty nuts. So pay attention. When we're talking about a God and what a God is, I know a lot of people say, oh, there's only one God. Okay, you're talking about the Most High. But if you're talking about beings, for example, that created these vessels or different vessels out here, there are many. And even if you look in your Bible, if you're a Bible thumping person, or you know, I'm a Christian, or whatever you are, look in your Bible. Your Bible is telling you there was more than one God. Well, no, it don't, Diva. Does your Bible have anything in it talking about Elohim? That's many. El meaning God. Ohim is dealing with many gods. Okay, so we're understanding that. Your Bible is already saying there are many gods, and those many gods come from the, and regardless of what dimension your God is in, whether it's on this dimension or a smaller dimension or a macro dimension, they still got to deal with these universal laws. Whatever energy you put out must come back. Whatever God that created these laws right here, we're talking about laws of maxim, they got to deal with these universal laws. And there are many gods. Are you talking about the Most High? That's all of us collectively. The plants, the people, the birds, the dogs, the cats, the bugs, all of that collectively. That's Most High. All of us are seeing through the eyes of the Most High. So these guys, they got to deal with these laws. That's why they come under here. They also got to deal with natural law. That's why they come under here. And see, this made me want to go into biblical history as well. This is why we go into that in class, because when we're talking about biblical history, there are gods that tried to destroy the humans. It's clear. Science shows it. Historical documentation shows it. Biblical documentation shows it. Ancient scriptural documentation shows it, that somebody tried to destroy the humans. Well, when you try to destroy something, going back to universal law, you shall be destroyed by that thing you tried to destroy. That's how it works. So all gods, and there are many of them, sit under these laws. Okay, now, once again, what is the main law about how this hierarchy of law came into effect? You only have the right to control that which you created. From the universe comes nature. From nature comes these guys. Then these guys create other beings, and they are known as sovereigns. That would be the so-called humans. Even other beings really would be sovereign. But in this case, we're talking about humans. All right. So humans or sovereigns, they create contract laws. Laws that we as living beings adhere to. And then from here, there are treaties, which is where two sovereigns get together, or they come together and there's an agreement based on tract of land, which in our case would be our declaration. Then we create a set of laws concerning this tract of land that we have claimed. And then there's this organization called federal. Now, when we're talking about federal, this was a group of people, and I call them elite Moors. And really, these elite Moors, they came together to make sure that the rights of the people were protected. That's why these people, these federal agents, they have to pledge. They make a pledge that they're going to protect God's property. Well, you are God's property, as we talked about. But on that pledge, it says, so help me God. They got a serious responsibility to protect the people. Now, then we got these people here, corporations, or I say people, but yeah, persons is what they are, persons. There's a difference between persons and people. I'm not going into it right now, unless you ask me. But right here, persons, these dead entities, they are created by a corporation. All right, so now, these corporations create these police precincts and other agencies, state of whatever. United States Corporation is right here. United States Corporation. So the only thing United States Corporation has the right to control is what it creates. It's creating state of Georgia, state of Tennessee, state of Texas, state of California, and then those states create policy enforcers or police precincts. And the U.S. corporation is going to create citizens. They got to create an all capital letter version of your name. Then they get to control that. But you as a sovereign up here, they don't get to control this. They didn't create you. Your mother created you. You came from your mother's womb. As soon as you and your mother start claiming the God that you stand under, then you understand why they don't have the right to be trying to control something all the way down here. So they didn't create you, but your mother consented for them to create that all capital letter organization. That's the citizen, that all cap corporation. You up here. The problem is you keep pretending to be this citizen down here. So that's where the hierarchy comes from. You have the right to control what you created. How do you tell me the United States or state of Georgia or state of anything else has the right to control you when they didn't create you? Your mama created you. And if your mother calls on her God and you call on your God, then they don't have no rights down here to control anything of your vessel. I hope that's making sense. And thank you for that question, Smiley. Anybody else have any questions? Intibate and Miss Pink, send me an inbox, please, with your information. so we can take care of you. Anybody have any questions? You're gonna give me the crickets today. Hierarchy of law chart. Very important in knowing where you stand. All right. We're gonna get into this. If y'all come into the session on the 14th of May, all right, that's on a Tuesday, next Tuesday. I want y'all to be a part of that session. We can answer a lot of questions, and then if you need further assistance, we'll be able to take you from there. Okay, how can I become your student? Miss Styles, I just need you to send us a message with your email, your name, and your number in the inbox, and we're going to make sure we get you in here to be a student. I would love to have you as a student. Where's that PDF? Competent, which PDF are you looking for? Let me know which PDF you're looking for. Michelle says, what time? It's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. You are welcome. All right. We want to welcome everybody to that. So if you send us a message with your name, number, we're going to make sure we send you an invite to that session. Okay. You're going to be able to talk to us after we give you some information. We'll have a session, and then if you need further assistance, we're going to make sure that we set up a consultation with you and get to it. All right. Who has any more questions? Thank you all for your beautiful questions. All my beautiful peoples in the house, Michelle and Competent and Miss Styles and the flowers from June Flight. Who else? War Chiefs in the house. Thank y'all for your sharing the lives. Thank you for joining. Let's see who else. Smiley, your question. Ivy, Bernal. All right. So we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna see y'all next Friday, and maybe sometime in between there, but for sure next Friday. I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. And then since we don't have any more questions, I hope that you have found this session to be of some help to you on knowing how to stand. This is so important. You got to know who you are. And I'm going to say this before I get out of here. I get so many people who will say to me, Diva, am I free? Listen up. If you got to ask me if you're free, then the answer is no. All right? You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. Just because you fill out some documentation and, well, I filled out the documentation, Diva, am I free? Just because you fill out documentation does not make you free. You have to know who you are. And really, if you know who you are, the trust, and let me pull up the trust package. Let me pull up this trust package real quick. If you know who you are, the trusts are just tools to help you as you maneuver through the game. Your declaration, security agreement, and UCC, these are just tools. Now, these are very powerful tools. Now, they like a serious weapon. But if you don't know how to use, this is like a gun. If you don't know how to use a gun, then it's not going to help you when it comes time for you to deal with these agents. If you walking through the woods and you got the world's most powerful gun and then a bear jump out and you can't take the safety off, well, it's no good to you. So that's why it's important to know who you are, how to stand, what is the hierarchy of laws. This is very much real. You cannot control something that you did not create. So tell me how a dead fictitious corporation is going to control a living being when it didn't create it. That's the law. That's the highest law. All right. Nina, you say you purchased it and you have questions. Come to the, let me make sure I put Nina is on the list. Nina, make sure we have your name and number, then we're going to send you an invite and make sure you can ask us any questions you have. Oh, we got you. Okay, we got you. So we'll send you a message and make sure we take care of you. Who else has a question? Okay, competent minds. You said that PDF. Which PDF though you're asking about, friend? Let me make sure because I don't want to leave my friend's question out. I don't know which PDF you're talking about, so tell me exactly which one, and then I will make sure I answer your question. All right. So listen, if you're not sure about whether or not you're free after you have filed or filled out these documents, then you're not. All right. You have to know the law, know what your rights are. That is what gives you your freedom, not paperwork. I need to make that clear. This is why we have the UNA University, because I've had so many people who have the documents and then they don't know what to do with them. They don't know how to stand on them. They're scared. And by the way, before I get out of here, this is why we provide you with the vibratory frequency chart. All right. If you are walking around scared, you down here in this lower part of this vibratory frequency chart, you're not operating in your right mind. All right. If you're down here talking about, oh, I'm scared, I don't know what to, yeah, you're not in your right mind. You're not even ready to be sovereign yet. All right. We walk up here. Us sovereigns, we walk up here. Thank you, Bernal. All right. Competent says he found it. All right. I'm happy about you finding it, Competent. So let's do this now. Like I said, I want you all to make sure you leave a message, name, number, email in the inbox so that we can make sure we contact you and invite you to this workshop so you can ask questions. You're going to have the opportunity to also set up another consultation if you need it for private assistance, okay? And we're going to get you in here, and then we're going to make sure we pull you in to become a student. That man says, I mean, can A. Is that a trick question? I know it's a trick question. Let me see. Because I never saw that man. That man. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. All right. If you're not going to ask me a full question, then I got to go. All right. So I'm going to get out of here. I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. We're going to see you Friday. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. I love you. We're going to see y'all next time.